say more than the Heisman because I have great respect for the Heisman Trophy, but I imagine that's not first on his agenda right now. It's playing well against a really good, really experienced defense and putting Clemson squarely in the playoff picture.
Speaking of the playoff picture, Clemson does happen to win the football game and runs the table in the ACC, or even comes out with a one loss in the ACC championship. Do you see them as a potential candidate for the playoff?
A candidate for sure. I mean, I think it would be sort of presumptuous to say, if they do this, sitting here in early October, they will definitely be in or they definitely won't be in. It's been a chaotic first month of the season already, and I think that you see things like our Football Power Index projections show that there's a great possibility of having 2 lost conference champions. In fact, last year, the scenario that we had with the 5 major conferences, with all of the champions either being undefeated in Florida State's case or with 1 loss going into it, that never happened in the BCS era. The entire BCS era, that never happened. So that was the outlier. It is more probable that you're going to have at least 1 2-loss conference champion. So I think the best thing you can say is if Clemson wins this game, or Notre Dame for that matter, but since you're asking from a Clemson perspective, if Clemson wins this game, it will certainly be very beneficial and be a great bullet point on their resume as the selection committee evaluates them and put them I think, in good position to be a strong candidate for sure.
The mantra from Clemson players this week is one of disrespect, that everyone loves Notre Dame and Clemson doesn't. What's your take, just from a national standpoint, on Clemson's place in the sport?
I think everybody likes to play the disrespect card. I mean, it tends to be a tried and true motivational perspective, to get nobody believes in us. They all hate us. Let's go show them. That's a lot easier, I think, to get guys riled up and say, hey, everybody's telling you you're really good. Everybody loves you. Yeah, okay, we're good. That's not quite as. I don't think it enrages quite the same way the disrespect card does. I don't think anybody has anything but the highest respect for Clemson. Now, that doesn't look. If people think Notre Dame's better, that doesn't mean they don't think Clemson's good. So I think a lot of times people tend to take that. Well, you didn't pick this team or that team. It automatically means the extreme that you hate the other one. It doesn't mean that at all. There are degrees on the scale, and certainly with Clemson joining Alabama and Oregon as the only other Power 5 teams that have 10-win seasons the last 4 years, it's impressive. I think they've established their place.
Has the rain affected ESPN at all in your show and what y'all are doing and all that sort of thing?
Is this your cameraman here?
This is.
Pan down or tilt down, right there. That's one thing for sure. And apparently we had they bought us some big fancy waiters too to go in there. So yeah, it hasn't really impacted much of the show. There are a couple of logistical things like a couple of segments maybe that we were planning to be on the demo field that maybe it's not as technically feasible now that we might be on the set, but nothing of any great consequence other than worry about ruining our suit pants.
I was going to say, I know obviously you're in now in place of Chris Fowler, so I don't know how much you've been in the past in the production part of it, but has anybody with ESPN ever been broadcasting when there's a hurricane and the rain's from it coming out?
Oh yeah, you know what? I don't remember which year it was exactly. Chris Felipe can tell you. He's got an encyclopedic type memory for this type of thing. But they were at West Point one year, and lightning struck the set, or struck close to the set. And Mark May, Trev Alberts, and I were in studio, and they basically said, you guys are on, for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever was left in the show. So I didn't experience that side of it. I experienced the flip side when they sort of got chased off the set, and we ended up doing a show on the fly. So, I think over the course of time, these guys have been through a lot of stuff, whether it's really, really cold weather or biblical proportion rains, which we're getting now. So everybody is, we've got the best crew in television, and everybody's setting up outside. We'll get us through it, and it'll make it seem like it's a balmy, sunshiny day by the end.
How different is it to do this show as opposed to basketball, especially coming to Clemson where you did the basketball a couple times?
You know what? It's the shows are different. I think they're named the same, but their aims are different, because each week in college football, as you guys know better than anybody, there are singular games that can carry great consequence and will last the rest of the season. That never happens in basketball. Basketball, while we certainly preview the day, it's I view that show as being a real issue-oriented show, and that's when that show is at its best. The football show is much more a pre-game show, set the table for the day, while certainly it handles issues beautifully. When you have guys out there like I have with me, they can handle any issue. But because of the build-up of an entire week to, I know there are games during the week too, but to that singular day, weekly on Saturday, it carries a really different feel in terms of anticipation of the games about to be played.
How does the hospitality at Clemson been this week?
It's been terrific. Food's been really good too. I mean, I've had more than my share of barbecue already. So, and you know what? Look, everybody on staff here at Clemson, whether I've been here to call games in the past on Thursday nights or game day basketball or calling basketball games here, we're always treated beautifully. This is it's a great campus. It's a great fan base. So we love coming here, and we'll love it even more if we get a whole bunch of people to turn out in the rain tomorrow morning for